Heidi ho, my peeps. Oh man, I have been going through my miscellaneous boxes and I have found some of the coolest stuff. Things I just totally forgotten I had. So let me just share some of this with you. First of all, I found 2 more baby shoes. That's wonderful. I needed a couple more baby shoes. I'm going to keep these in reserve in case anyone has a special order. I found a lot of stuff for making paper projects. Oh, turn that over. Found these that I got at Dollar Tree a while back. They don't make these hearts. The company doesn't make them anymore. I think someone else is starting to make them. But I'm glad to have those. I found this cool pink paper pennant that I picked this up at, I guess this must have been Dollar Tree at some point. Then I found these old photo holders, frames. And they have just beautiful textural fronts with these really neat, that's a neat emboss on it. Just really, really cool. I can work that into some sort of paper project. Then I found these 2 bags that I had intended to frame. I was just simply going to frame these. I thought they were gorgeous, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them at this point, but I'll figure something out. I'll make something beautiful out of them. Then I found my pink doilies. I had purchased a bunch of these, put them away, and totally forgot about them. This is a little, man, I have used this for so many things. This is an old paperback, it's a dictionary, but it's a Italian to English dictionary, I believe. I think. Maybe Spanish to English dictionary. Yeah. I think this is Italian. I don't think this is Spanish. Nationalissimo. That's Italian. So anyhow, it makes a nice background for little cards and things like that. Found my big heart doily. And I found this. I love this. I have 2 or 3 of these. These are Jack Daniel's bottle holders. They're very, very old. My grandfather had them for years. He probably dug them out of the trash at an old saloon, maybe in California, maybe in Nevada. I just have some jewelry findings in them right now. And I love these. I usually keep these on my work station to put pins and tools and different things in. I found something that just so, I don't know. It just reminds me of the old days because it's something I made when I had my first store years ago. And it's all of this stuff right here. This is 2 pieces of plastic, like you would make a plastic tablecloth out of or cover a couch with if you were so inclined, with some just confetti and different things sandwiched in between, and then I ironed it together. So I ended up with a lot of different kind of funky pieces of material that I can use for all sorts of stuff. This is a big one. Hold on. Okay. This is a nice big sheet, so I can do something with that. I'm not sure what. I thought it was really cool. And then I'll just run through. Most of the colors are very 1980s, 1990s, pink, blue, gold. I like this one. I can't remember what this material is. It's thinner, but I thought that turned out real pretty. So anyhow, when I ran across these, I immediately thought greeting cards. And I was thinking about maybe cutting these out into heart shapes, perhaps stitching them onto a piece of cardstock that maybe has had, I don't know, something laminated onto it or been painted somehow. And then maybe stuff the little hearts with a little bit of the shredded cellophane before sewing them closed. I thought that would be really neat. Kind of slightly puffy hearts on the front of a greeting card. Just real simple, but real different. I thought that would be fun. I also found this. This was the tag that I used to put in the clothing in my original store back in the day. The name of the store was Nouveau, and a friend of mine did the logo for me. That was before I was doing computer graphics. In fact, it was before I worked in the graphics industry at all. And I told her I wanted something really simple that had the three main geometric design elements in it: the disc, the pyramid, and the square. So that's what she ended up with, and I really like it. It really, really worked for that era. Even the colors worked for that era, the kind of teal and the pink together. And I probably have, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand of these probably left over. I will figure out something to do with them someday. I found this little bag. Hang on, I gotta open it. Oh, open it with my teeth. These are little zipper pulls, little charms that I made, and we used to sell at craft shows. I think we sold them for like $1 or something like that. And I have tons and tons. This is my series. Oh, Clara! Clara! Look at that. Reminds me of you. That I made and sold for about $1. And I think they're really neat. I think this whole section is birds. I'm pretty sure. So anyhow, I'll figure out something to do with those in the store. I also found, I'm just going to show you through the plastic. These are little discs that that go into those bezels that you see there. And I did some, these are really unusual. I've never, it's not that I've never seen these. I got to show you a specific one. Hang on. Got to use my teeth to open up the bag again. Okay, I found the ones I wanted to show you. First of all is this one. I love this. This is a Gypsy Fortune Teller. I thought that was super neat. I also found kind of sort of a circus themes. I like this with the little animals going through their act. Then I found this. This looks like maybe a lotto wheel. I thought that was kind of neat and spooky. Then I found a whole bunch, and I'm only going to show you two, a whole bunch of different teacups that I thought were really neat. So I'm probably going to make themed charm bracelets out of these, do a tea series, a circus series, Paris, blah, blah, blah. So that's probably how I'm going to use those. Now, lastly, I want to show you this. Okay, again, I'm going to use my teeth. All right, I'm back. I dropped the camera. Okay, the thing I want to show you in here is this. All right, I was just talking to one of you guys about flea markets, and particularly the swap meets in Orange County and LA. Apparently they don't do them anymore, but they were the hottest thing around for decades. Well, I was in Palo Alto, California, at a swap meet that was also, you know, legendary, and I found this length of rhinestone trim. Those are Aurora Borealis rhinestones in there, and they're dirty. Some of them are dirty because this was sitting outside for years. But what I would do is I would take these out individually and use them, just the little individual stones, on projects. What's cool about them is they're on a fabric base, so they cut apart really easily. So I know I'm going to find some wonderful uses for this stuff. And then that's just various and sundry charms and jewelry findings and stuff. The last thing I want to show you is over here. Look what I found. I found this big old bag of wooden beads. And I immediately thought fairy flower dolls. I've seen them done where they will paint the bead you know, as the face of the doll, and then it will have like a wire armature, or sometimes they'll use pipe cleaners, but I think I'd use wire. And then you make a little flower skirt for her. And I think I'm going to make a few of those. I've been wanting to try my hand at doll face painting for a while, so I'm going to experiment with that as well. So yeah, really had fun looking for neat stuff. And I found this handy item. I know I'm going to be using this all the time now as well. Okay, I just have so many things to share with you. I didn't want to stop there. So, yeah, I'm just creating up a storm. I want to show you some of the things that I've made. I found my computer that has Photoshop on it, and it's working just fine. And by using like a flash drive, I can move files from my old computer that I work on that doesn't interface with new wireless technology. I can move it to my new computer, then shoot it over to the printer and print things like this. Isn't that pretty? How can I get it out of the... There we go. This is a photo of a Valentine that is hanging up in my bathroom. My mom gave it to me years and years ago, and I just stuck it in this little frame. I'm not sure I'm going to leave it there. I just kind of wanted to see how it looked framed. This is just a cheap Dollar Tree frame that I'm thinking about painting. Anyhow, that's kind of a neat little thing. These can be sold really reasonably at the store. So, you know, I'm going to have a lot of $49, $59, $69 stuff, but I also want to have some, you know, $9.99 stuff as well. That's cool. That's, you're like, oh, that's pretty. It's $10. I'm buying it for my aunt who collects those things. This one, I think I'm just going to take it out of the frame and show it to you. This is another Valentine that I own. I use my paper punches from, I don't know, doing junk journaling, and I did the little corners and then this section here, and then I just kind of hand cut the edges so that it would make a pleasant kind of looking edge. And so there's a lot of things you can do with this. You can frame this like I was thinking about doing, but this can also be decoupage to like an old piece of wood like I have, and different things could be added to it. You could do an assemblage found objects kind of piece using this as the background. So I've got a lot of things I want to experiment with this. Now this, you've already seen this in the form of fabric. I had these made into fabric patches that I wanted to put on different things. So I'll be using this artwork a lot. Oh, incidentally, a word about copyrights. This is from probably the 1890s, not past 1910, you know, right around the turn of the century, which is now in the public domain. So it's legal for me to photograph it and use it, just incidentally. I try to be very careful about that. For example, I can take an old t-shirt that has Mickey Mouse on it and, you know, turn that into a pillow, and that's okay, because I didn't replicate the image of Mickey Mouse. However, if I take the picture, take that photo. Oh, I'm going to talk to Grant. I'm coming right back. Grant is just so adorable. It never fails. When he goes down to town and he has errands to do, he always calls me at least once, sometimes 7 or 8 times, to find out, is there anything I want at this store? Is there any other place he needs to go? What about half and half? Do we have enough? Do we have enough mayonnaise? Do we have enough bread? All that sort of thing. He's just so sweet. So anyway, he's out and about gathering. He's doing the hunting and gathering for us today. And one of the things he's bringing back is one, although I'm going to buy 3 more, one metal rolling cart. It's made of steel. It's been painted black. It has locking wheels, and it's got 2 shelves, and it's 24 inches by 30 inches, I believe. which is absolutely perfect for me to stack boxes on. Boxes like, well, like the ones behind me that you see behind me there. So instead of stacking these up and leaving them on my work surfaces, I'm going to stack them onto these rolling carts. And then when I need a certain category of thing, I just bring the rolling cart over to where I'm working, and I've got whatever that stuff happens to be, fabric or whatever. And I'll have all of my tools permanently on the table, but materials and supplies I'll have on these carts. And that's going to make it so much easier. I won't have to get up, sit down, move over, drop stuff on the floor accidentally, stack things up higher than they really should be, all that kind of thing. So I am looking forward to using that new method of keeping my stuff. Anyway, I can't remember the last thing I showed you. Oh, it was this. Okay. So now here's another thing that I've been working on. I ran across this fabric. I don't think I have any that's just lying out. Anyhow, let me show you what I did with the fabric, and you'll see it as well. This is a box that had caramel corn in it from Tuesday morning. Grant and I bought this caramel corn stuff a couple of weeks ago, and the box was just so neat. I didn't want to throw it out, and I thought, man, I'm going to do something with that. So I set it aside. Then I found the fabric, and I thought, oh my gosh. Okay, so I remember these fabric-covered boxes in this kind of fabric back in the 1980s and 90s. They were really popular. You could buy them in sets. They have a beautifully decorated top. This hasn't been decorated, but it'll have flowers and lace and pearls and crap on it. They were always beautifully painted inside and out. That has like a glittery, sort of glimmery coating. The lids fit securely, snugly, but not, it's not hard to put them on and take them off. And so I thought, well, shoot, let's see, maybe I have some more. So I went digging around, and I found 2 more of the little boxes. And let's see if I've got them handy. I do. Well, I have one. I'll just show you that. Well, no, I guess I do have 2. Okay. So I found these 2. These are just Dollar Tree boxes. You would buy them nested like this, and they had some fabric on them and a cheap flower, and no, they didn't even have fabric. They were printed and had a cheap flower on them. Cute, something nice for 99 cents. You got, or $1, you got 2 boxes. You could use them to, put gifts in or whatever. Great. So I bought a couple, put them away. And then I thought, okay, what I'll do is I'll make a full set. So obviously I covered these to match the bigger one. And they also have their covered and finished off lids as well. Okay. Which will be decorated. And so I'm looking at these things, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, the name of my store and the whole vibe of it is Cabinet of Curiosities, right? So if all I do is put roses and flowers and lace on the top of these boxes, they'll be pretty, but they're not going to be curious in any way. So what I'm going to do is decorate them with the roses and the lace and the pearls and all that kind of stuff. And then sticking up from amid the pearls and the lace and the roses will be porcelain doll parts, legs, arms, heads, torsos, just artfully arranged in and around the roses. That's a curiosity. That's one of those things that you see it and you think, oh gosh, that's pretty. My mom had one of those. My grandma might like that. And you take a good look at it and you realize it's got these disembodied body parts sticking up out of it. And you're like, whoa, am I really seeing what I think I'm seeing? That just seems so odd. Well, odd. Now, that is the reaction I'm trying for on the first take. I want people to think, oh, odd. So, this is going to be my first foray into, ooh, odd. So, yeah, can't wait to get moving on that. I can't wait to show you when I'm done. So what else have I been doing? I'm just going to show you something else I found. This was in my grandmother's stuff. My grandmother used to make these things constantly. Remember these baking towels, I guess, tea towels that had the days of the week? Let's see, can I show you? There you go. This one has a little kitten on it, something she had started and never finished. I was going to take this off or finish it, and then I thought, no, wait a minute. I'm going to leave it just like it is, partially done, still on its frame, and I'm going to figure out something, ooh, odd to do with it. So, something like that's coming up. What did I drop? Oh, hang on. I'm going to fall out of frame for just a minute. Righty. I dropped my little box. Okay. So, is there anything else to show you? Oh, yes. Okay. So, I've been making, you've seen those flowers I've been making where you cut out the circles, you burn the edge, well, you melt the edge, and then you put them together and make the floofy flower. Okay, I love that. I've seen it done online with roses, with candles primarily. You hold it over a tea light. Well, take a look at what Grant brought me. A torch. Okay? When I saw this, I was like, Grant, that's overkill, buddy. And he says, no, I swear, it's really, really going to work. Just try it. Okay, you can't see the flame, but I can see the flame. I thought, oh, that's too weird. That's not, that I'm not going to use that. I'm going to end up burning myself. But do you know, he got me two of them. These things are so much easier than using a candle. I don't burn myself. It doesn't seem to give off the same kind of fumes, and which makes no sense to me. Why would it not? I mean, it's burning, right? Or melting, so it's going to give off fumes, right? For some reason, you just don't smell the fumes. I don't know. The other neat thing about these, I don't know if this one's, yeah. Now you can, let's see, can I put it? Can't see the flame. Okay, you can kind of see the flame on the side of my face there. Anyhow, these things, they output a blue flame, but they also shoot out a lot of heat. So you can hold this fairly far away from your piece of fabric, and it melts without burning. And if you guys do those flowers, this is the only way to go. If you're scared, you can hold them with a tweezer or something. I just hold them with my bare hands. How's it go? And I haven't burned myself yet. So, just a little tip. Is that everything? I think that's everything. So, I'm going to go back to, well, what I've been doing today, besides messing with these little projects, is I've been organizing. And that's been going great. All of my little plastic boxes are beginning to fill up. My miscellaneous boxes are being, unfilled and stacked and put outside to be washed and reused in some other fashion. So, organizing, and it feels so good. The other thing I did, I went ahead and got my fictitious business name. I've got to publish that in the paper for 4 weeks, but that's taken care of. I got my resale license. That's taken care of. Now I just need to set up some books, figure out how I'm going to keep my, financial inventory. I'll probably do it in QuickBooks or something. That'll be easy enough. Once I get my certificate back with my fictitious business name, paperwork that should come in the mail, then I'm going to take that to the bank and I'm going to open my business account. So I'll have Visa, MasterCard, of course, whatever online payment plan procedures are now integrated to all of that. I don't know what they are. Of course, I'll take PayPal still. So I've got to set up that whole financial thing, which is easy enough. It just requires a trip into town. So about the only other thing I really need to do that in that, housekeeping kind of stuff is let the electric company know that as of a certain day, the electricity will be in my name, not in the name of the tenant. So there's a nice smooth transition there. And I have to let the garbage service people know that I'm taking over and find out, what that whole thing entails. I may not even need garbage service there. It depends on how soon I get the apartment rented out. My son is going to move in there, but he's not going to spend a whole lot of all the time there. I mean, he'll be there most nights, but he's not going to be generating a lot of trash. I'm not going to be generating a lot of trash, so I may not have a garbage service, at least not right now. So that covers pretty much all the high points. I'm making progress in all of that. I ordered some mannequins, not mannequins, but dress forms for the store. I have one antique dress form that I'm going to use. I'm not even sure that I'm taking it to the store. I might leave it here because I love that thing. But I ordered 3 that are kind of replicas of old looking dress forms, and they were really inexpensive. I found them on Walmart online. So I've got those ordered, and I figure 3 is right because I'm going to have some clothing that will be on a dress form. I will have, gosh, sorry about that. I don't think I can escape the sun unless I move back. Clothing, then I'm going to have a section of aprons, which will require a dress form. And then I'll have a section of knitwear, which will require a dress form. So 3 dress forms will do it. I've also got my bags ordered, my merchandise bags, and I've chosen a brown craft paper bag. I have some with handles, just like for doing something a little gifty. But primarily I've got just a large flat bag and small flat bags. But they have a newspaper print on them. It's like an old newspaper. So it's black newspaper print on the brown craft paper bags. So that is going to harmonize really nicely with the whole vibe of the store. So I'm not going to do plastic bags. I'm probably not going to use that many bags. And I'm going to offer an incentive for people. If they come in and they want to buy something, I'll let them know, hey, if you've got bags out in the car that you normally use for groceries or whatever, I'll give you a discount, or you'll get this little certificate. Next time you come in, you get 5% off, or something like that. That will encourage people to reuse the bags that they already have. So I don't think I will go through lots of bags. I think that will be far less than we did back the last time I had a store. What else? I want to talk to you about something else. One of my dear friends here on YouTube made a comment about this thing, and it was a very thought-provoking comment. Let's see. I'm going to move back. Okay, so the name of this quilt block, quilt blocks always have a lot of names depending on regionally where you are. Sometimes it's called whirligig. Sometimes it's called pinwheel, although a true pinwheel quilt block is a little different than this. It's also called Catch Me If You Can, and probably other names, but it looks suspiciously like a heinous sign from World War II history that I don't even want to say the name of. And my friend was like, oh gosh, I saw that and I immediately registered this sign. And I never even occurred to me, and that this pattern never made that symbolism jump up in my head. In part because this isn't exactly that pattern. I mean, if you go back and you look at that sign, and of course I'm talking about the Nazi sign from World War II. You'll see that this is this is different. But it's not different enough that it doesn't make you think about it. In doing some research about that, I already knew that this symbol or symbols that look like this are ancient. I mean, they've been used in lots of different cultures worldwide. You see them a lot in South American art and things like that. And then also, there was a regiment in the United States, a military regiment that used this sign as their patch, their regimental patch. So it's been used in a lot of different ways, and it's so unfortunate that this symbol has been bastardized and made unclean by history. It's really upsetting. However, I'm a little bit conflicted about what to do, if anything, and how I should feel about it. Um, on the one hand, just in general terms, I have a real problem with destroying items of history that remind you of something else, because that's how we lose our culture, by destroying stuff. I think immediately I'm thinking about when, I can't remember which country it was, but it fell to, it had been a Buddhist country, I believe it was a Buddhist country, and it fell to um, the caliphate rule. Is it the caliphate that is the religious rulers that took over in the Islamic world? Back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I think that's it. Well, this country fell to those people, and they went through and destroyed wonders of the world. They destroyed Buddhist temples. They destroyed huge Buddhas that had been carved out of rock. I mean, these things had been there since ancient times, and people would come from all over the world to see them. And they're no longer there. They're gone because a religious group decided that they were blasphemous, so they got destroyed. That bothers me. I could probably sit and think about why that bothers me and give you all sorts of reasons. I'm not going to. It just bothers me. It seems like there's something inherently wrong with that. To retire this quilt block because it looks considerably somewhat like that hated symbol, I think that's wrong too. It destroys our ability to talk about stuff. For example, if my friend hadn't mentioned it to me, I wouldn't have gone and done more research. I wouldn't have thought about it, and I wouldn't have thought about my own position, how I think about things like that, and how we should think about things. Not should, how we do, and how the way we think about things affects our relationships with one another. So there's a whole lot of weight in this tattered little piece of cloth. A lot of stuff to think about. I am choosing to leave it exactly the way it is, and the next time it comes up, if it comes up, explain, like I just did to you, about my feelings about destroying stuff just because it reminds you of something else. Destroying something that is inherently bad, like child pornography from 1910, okay? And might be artfully photographed, but it's still child pornography. And it doesn't refer to it or look kind of like it or is being mistaken for it. It is. And there's no reason for that to exist for any reason at all. Child porn, gotta go. I have no trouble with that. But there are other things that I have a lot of trouble with destroying within our culture. So thank you my dear friend Roy, for bringing that up. You really got me thinking about stuff, um, and I'm going to continue to think about stuff like that. Stuff like that being symbolism and how it affects from person to person, and where do you draw the line. I think if that were a quilt block that had um, a black symbol in the center of a white square with a red circle around it, that's on the nose. That is what it is. And I personally wouldn't feel comfortable um, using that for any reason, unless I were into deviant art or trying to prove some point, and still I wouldn't use it. I would find some other way to say what I needed to say without taking um, the risk of really hurting somebody's feelings, or bringing up bad stuff for them or their families. So in that case, I wouldn't use it. But this particular thing, it isn't what it seems to refer to, and it has a completely other place in culture, and I don't think it should be destroyed. So there we go. Did I want to show you anything else? I think that's it. I've yapped at you guys long enough for today. So next time I come back, I will. I'll have another story for you. I want to tell you about the other names that I was thinking of to call my store and why I didn't choose them. Why I chose Cheryl Coyote's Cabinet of Curiosities as the name. So I want to come back and tell you that story later. But right now, I gotta get back to work. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.